This is Alysson, and I'm here with the Baby Lock Euphoria. The Euphoria is Baby Lock's chain and cover stitch machine, and there are so many options of things that we can do with this machine. We're going to be talking about how to work with knits, denim, bell loop binders, piecing a quilt, how to add to home decoration. There are so many things that we can do with this machine. Now, before we jump into the stitching, let's talk about some of the details of the Euphoria. The Euphoria will stitch up to 1,500 stitches per minute. It gives us 5 inches of workspace to the right of the needle, as well as really nice illumination with 3 LED lights. It comes with a knee lift, so it's going to lift the presser foot and drop your feed dogs at the same time, so that way we can get our projects under there without a problem. The presser foot will also lift up to 6 millimeters, so no matter how thick your project is, it's going to be able to handle it. Now, where this machine really shines is by giving you professional finishes on your garments. But like I said earlier, we can do a lot of other things with it. First, we're going to be talking about working with knits. If you've ever worked with knits on a standard sewing machine, you probably know the frustration of getting the project out from underneath your needle, stretching your fabric, and then your stitches popping. With the Euphoria, we don't have that concern. This is the great thing about a chain and cover stitch machine. Now I'm going to put some fabric up here, and first actually I'm going to add this is an optional accessory. This is a seam guide. So the Euphoria has 4 different screw holes here on the bed of the machine, so I can attach my seam guide and make sure that I'm getting a consistent hem, and it's going to be the right amount of space away past the needle, basically. So I'm going to set this up here and adjust exactly as I need. I'm going to be making a pretty big hem, so we'll go maybe a little bit more than 1 inch and then turn it over. I'm going to put this underneath my needles and start stitching. One of the nice things about the Euphoria is it will chain off. So it's okay for me to keep stitching past where my fabric is. And if you'll see here, I have a beautiful triple cover stitch. So I've got 3 needles and 3 stitches right there for those needles. And I'm going to be able to stretch my fabric in any direction. Here's the back. And as you can see, it's allowing my fabric to stretch even though it's stitched. So this is a really nice way to get a good, strong hem. And I can even work with denim. With this triple cover stitch, it's perfect for a project with denim. So this is a 12-ounce denim. And we'll stitch on down here. And look at that beautiful stitch. So you can be working with knits, denim, cotton, really anything you like, and you're going to get a good, beautiful finish for your garments. Now we're going to take out one of the needles and go to a double cover stitch wide. This stitch is makes a beautiful hem on just about anything that you would like to sew. And in order to change this over on the machine, all we're going to do is take out that middle needle. I have a little magnet here on the top of the machine for my needles that I don't need anymore. And pull my thread out. So I'm going to use my seam guide again to create a hem with this double cover stitch wide. And here we have another beautiful finish. Now with this double cover stitch wide, I'm going to show you another attachment that Baby Lock makes that you can use with the Euphoria. This is our belt loop binder. And this is a really easy way to make straps or belt loops. So we just replace our seam guide with our belt loop binder attachment. We're going to place our fabric into the binder. And we're going to push it underneath the presser foot. Lift my needles up and get this underneath my needles. And start stitching. And this makes a beautiful belt loop where it's going to catch both ends and stitch it together. And you can also use this for straps on bags. It's a very easy way to make straps. Now, another thing that we can do on the Baby Lock Euphoria is stitch in the round very easily. And one of the ways that we can make sure that we have everything lined up so that we meet our stitches back when we come around is with the help of the presser foot that is on the machine. The presser foot that comes on the Euphoria gives us 3 little notches here in front of our needles. And what those do is show us where our needles are going to land, so where our stitches are going to be. When we start stitching, in the round, what we're going to do is line up our project either with the seam guide or with one of these convenient lines here on the bed of the machine to give us our seam allowance. And I'm going to put my needles down into the fabric. I'm going to turn my fabric wrong side out. So this way, as I start stitching, I'm going to be able to just feed it in a tube. So I'm watching this line here on the bed of the machine. And keeping that hem consistent. And continuing to pull my fabric around. Now, once I get to a place where I can see where my stitches started, I'm going to slow down and make sure when I get to the presser foot that my stitches are lined up with these notches here for my right and my left needle. And once I see them come into that opening on my foot, I'm going to take a couple of stitches so they overlap, use my hand wheel, and then I'm going to lift my presser foot and pull a little bit of slack here. And then I'm going to pull that slack here in front of my needles. I'm actually going to trim that and then pull my fabric out the back. And so I have a couple little threads here to clean up. But as you can see, they overlap just fine. And it's very easy to make a hem in the round on the Euphoria. Now I'm going to take one more needle out of the machine and we're going to talk about some decorative stitches and some quilting. So now let's talk about piecing a quilt with the Euphoria. With Euphoria, we can use the lace applicator foot and adjust the blade to the left or the right depending on which needle you want to use to give ourselves a perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance. So we have it set up for the chain stitch, which is 1 needle and the looper thread. And we can chain piece very easily. And have our perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, the benefit to piecing your quilts on the Euphoria is you're not going to run out of bobbin thread. You're going to be able to see exactly how much thread you have on the spools, so you're going to know when you need to replace your thread. There's not going to be any surprise, oops, I ran out of bobbin thread. Now, another really fun thing that we can do with the chain stitch is create some decorative stitches. We're going to replace our chain looper thread with a 12 weight decorative thread. I'm going to grab all of our thread out from the machine. I'm going to put the standard presser foot back on. And in order to thread the looper, all we do is put the thread into place. Let the machine know that we're in threading mode. And push the button and we're threaded. Now, once we're ready to work with our decorative thread and our chain stitch, I'm going to lower my presser foot, and I've got a quilt sandwich here. We're just going to have a little bit of fun. Oh, I'm going to turn this to the other side. So this is my right side, I'm sorry, this is my wrong side, and this is my right side. And on the right side of my quilt sandwich, what you can see is that decorative thread shows up beautifully. And we can create lots of different shapes, or we can quilt in straight lines. I can chain off a little bit. And that's going to give me a beautiful decorative finish. Now, with the decorative stitches, we can use this with a triple cover stitch, as well as a double cover stitch, or just the chain stitch. So folks, as you can see, the Euphoria is such a versatile machine. There are so many things that we can do with it. Baby Lock makes a lot of attachments for this. So not only can you work with your belt loop binder and your seam guide, but they also make some tools that will help you get a consistent hem.